And you mentioned earlier when answering the question that a client really needs to think about the packages and negotiating something where it makes sense and they're not just picking the cheapest option that an agency is offering. Let's say I'm an entrepreneur and I either want to learn SEO myself or I want to train someone in-house within my team. What resources do you currently use and or recommend to someone in that particular situation?
Two options come to mind. Moz.com is a pretty well known, trusted outlet in the industry, and they have I think it's called like SEO 101, and they have a pretty lengthy guide that goes over it. Another option, if I can throw out a link of mine, is I wrote a book this year called Outrank, and it is exactly what you described. I had two types of readers in mind. One was the little guys that can't afford SEO, but they still should have a fighting chance. So it's 130, 40 page book. Like it's a book. It's not just like a short PDF download. Um, so if you go to freeseobook.com, you can get a free PDF download. It's on Amazon if you want a physical copy. But reader number one was that, like, help the little guys out, because there are so many outdated resources or shady agencies that just have really good sales guys. But the second reader is the bigger agency or the bigger companies, where they know SEO is the answer, but they don't want to spend the time on it. But like you said, they don't know what questions to ask. They don't know how to qualify the right agency. They don't know who to trust. And so I wrote, there's a whole chapter dedicated just to questions to ask to qualify and find the right agency.
Amazing. And I know that there's been a lot of changes in digital marketing overall, in all aspects of digital marketing, and especially this year. So my question to you now is, what immediate changes have you seen with SEO going into pre-COVID and now COVID excuse me, and what changes do you suspect might occur in 2021 when it comes to SEO?
The only thing that's really changed, I think, is the demand. Obviously, I mean, the online marketplace has always been growing, but understandably, COVID accelerated it. As far as strategically, I don't think it's really changed that much. And not just because of COVID, but I get this question pretty regularly, even before COVID. You know, what's changed over the last couple of years and what's coming in the future? Nothing. And that really surprises a lot of people. And the reason why is because everything that comes along with new strategies or variables or opportunities of things to work with within the scope of SEO back into like a core pillar of SEO. So what I mean is, you know, mobile devices come along a couple of years ago. Great. It's still just an element of good design. Voice comes along. Great. It's still just an element of good content. Like, I'm not over here, and me and my team aren't recording like little sound bites on our computers and loading them to websites to give Siri and Google answers. What happens is, you know, voice is a great example of this. What happens is when you ask Google or Siri a question, it is giving the answer from a website that A, it can access the quickest, B, has the cleanest content that it can read quickly, and C, has a good structure and it trusts what is being presented to the search engine so it can digest it and send it back to the user instantaneously. So I think that's actually a big fault of a lot of people that get caught up in the new shiny objects and, oh, there's this new thing and let's just go all in on it. I've always taken a well-rounded approach and just backed anything into just really standard core pillars of SEO, and it's always worked really well. As these new algorithms come along, we've never had any client with a penalty, so freaking nothing, Kenny.